Hey guys, welcome back to another walkthrough video for Dark Souls. Last video we were talking about simple mechanics in the game and, simple little actions that you can use to fight enemies and riposte and backstab and all that good stuff. Today we'll be looking at early weapons, early items that you can get right from this area, basically 50 feet away. That's relatively easy to get. You probably wouldn't know about unless you were exploring, but you probably wouldn't go there because there's a bunch of skeletons that can pretty much one and or two shot you. So yeah, I'm going to show you an easy way to get around them so that you can grab all the weapons and get the fuck out without, dying, as it were, because that's going to happen a lot, and we probably want to save that for later. Anywho, let's get started. And I know I promised that we would be talking to this D-bag over here, and he's everybody's favorite. Not really, because he's just not that helpful and or wanting to help you besides telling you something very vague. I don't know. First time I listened to him, I didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. Didn't tell me, anything really realistic and or helpful. Just kind of ring these two bells and move on. So, I'm going to talk to him, let you listen to him, and yeah. And just for future reference, I will not be talking to every NPC so that you can hear every single possibility of thing that they can hear. You can do that on your free time because there is literally hours of content of just these NPCs talking, and they reveal some really cool backstories to the game, and I do suggest you watch them, but I'm not going to go through them because I already have and just don't feel like it. So yeah, here we go.
Well, what do we have here? You must be a new arrival. Let me guess. Fate of the undead, right? Well, you're not the first. But there's no salvation here. You'd have done better to rot in the undead asylum. But too late now. Well, since you're here, let me help you out. There are, actually, two bells of awakening. One's up above in the undead church. The other is far, far below, in the ruins at the base of Blight Town. Ring them both, and something happens. Brilliant, right? Not much to go on, but I have a feeling that won't stop you. So, off you go. It is why you came, isn't it? To this accursed land of the undead?
So yeah, that guy. Cherry, isn't he? So let's talk a little bit. If you're first playing this game, really the main direction you want to go to is over Dhar. That's pretty much the main way to get started. The other ways, which there are, I believe, two. Yes, there's two different ways that you can go also behind me. Both are for higher levels, and yeah, we're gonna go there. Just a little bit of the areas, just so that we can get some of the main starting, items that are nice. But I can pretty much guarantee that 2 out of the 3 places I want to take you to, I am going to die. It is inevitable. I might get lucky and get away, but probably not. It just, it's the causality of this game. So, again, let's grab every item we find. This will be a soul. Or I'm sorry, this is actually humanity. So I talked about humanity earlier. So that's actually what we call hard humanity. It's actually an actual form that you can take. And as you can see, it will give you 1 humanity plus greatly restore your HP. When it says greatly restore, it actually means that it will fully restore your HP. So it's nice to use when you're, let's say, in a player versus player fight. It's frowned upon in most areas. If you're like in the forest, and again, we'll always go over this stuff later on. The forest is a area for PvP that basically has no rules. So this you can use there, but it's usually frowned upon, and most players will find you, unacceptable, dishonorable if you use this during a duel. So, mind your P's and Q's. Watch, you can look on the wiki and see the areas that it's okay to use. I mean, I'm not telling you can't use it. You can. It's just that most players are just gonna, say that you're a D-bag, and that'll be it. That it matters to you. So when I use this humanity, it'll go up on my counter at the top left. Let me engage my mouse so I can show you again. This counter, which says 00 right now, which means I have no humanity. If I were to use one of those hard humanities I found, it'll give me 01. If I use 2 more, it'll be 03. Now, if I had that, I can come to a bonfire and reverse my hollowing and become human. I'm not going to do that just yet because I do not want to be invaded while I'm doing the next few things, you know, just so that we are doing that, but I may become hollow in the future walkthroughs just so that you guys can see the real life danger of being invaded. And it is a fun aspect to the game, but, you know, it is extremely distracting, and it definitely adds a huge difficulty to the game depending on your phantom that invades you. So, you know, we'll look at that later. Leveling up, you know, we can go a little bit farther into this now. As you can see, the souls required for next level. So if I were to increase my vitality by 1, that costs 707 souls. If I do it again, it would cost 724 souls, then 741, and so on and so forth. So as you level up, the souls required to level everything up increases. You can see my soul counter here, 2,356. Let me disengage my mouse again. So, you know, you have a wide choice here. Vitality is obvious, it increases your health. Attunement is a little bit confusing. Attunement is actually the number of spells you can have equipped. So if I have between 10 and 11, I'm sorry, if you have 10 or 11, then you can have 1 spell. If you have 12 or 13, then you can have 2 spells. And so on and so forth, all the way up to, you know, I think it actually caps at 18, 19, so that should be 8. I think you can have 8 or 10 spells, maybe more. I'm not entirely sure. I've never been one for spells, so that might be something you want to look up. But that's how attunement works. Endurance is obviously the amount of stamina you have, and you can look at these things. It actually increases different things. My equipment load, for one. Come on, mouse. There we go. My equipment load, the amount that I can carry at any given time, increases as I increase my stamina. Vitality is just that, and physical defense, attunement isn't really do anything besides, you know, this all gets upgraded with whatever you do. Strength will increase most strength weapons, so your great swords and things like that. Anything that has a strength multiplier on it will increase. Dexterity is the same way, so most of the swords, like the scimitar that I'm using, for example, or falchion, will increase as you increase your dexterity. Dexterity will also... no, I guess it doesn't increase your speed, I'm sorry, I guess it's only endurance. Resistance is a little worthless. It increases your defenses, but it's really not effective. You can look more into this, but it's, you know, it's something that just no one even looks at. It's just, you know, worthless to an extent. Intelligence will increase the damage that your spells do for the most part, I believe. Also, some multipliers that you put, sorry, not multipliers, enchantments that you put on your weapons will be increased with intelligence. And then faith will increase, like, all your miracles. I'm sorry, I had to think of that. Sorceries, there's 3 different kinds of magics, and again, we'll get into this later. There's sorcery, pyromancy, and miracles. Sorcery is, you know, mage spells, you know, I can't think of any off the top of my head, I'm sorry, but there are different blasts and things like that. Pyromancy is self-explanatory, all your fire spells and things like that, fireball, all that good stuff. And then miracles are things that enhance you, like they might be heals, or there's also different ones that will, like, slow your enemy and different things like that. So faith will increase that, as well as other different things. Some enchantments on your weapons are different. There's one that will give you more holy damage, so with faith that will also multiply. So you want to be mindful of this kind of thing as you're leveling up. For now, I'm just going to leave this alone. We can look into this later. I'm not really that concerned with it. And also kindling, I know we talked about this briefly last video, but if I am human and I have humanity on my counter, I can kindle this bonfire. Actually, I can't, because this bonfire, this specific bonfire is actually kindled already. So when I rest at this bonfire, it will give me 10 charges of my flask. Any other bonfire, basically any ones that are not kindled, will only give you 5. So be mindful of that. As you kindle, you'll get more charges of your flask, which can be helpful later in the game. So that's basically that with humanity and all that stuff. And again, I'll show you that later. I just don't want to be invaded. So let's look around before we advance any farther into the game and kind of look at different things. There are some items that are hidden throughout this little section. So look at every corner. Be mindful there might be enemies about. I believe there's an item back here. Yep. So there's fire bombs. Fire bombs are nice little items. As you pick up items, if your slots here are empty, they'll automatically be equipped. So if you're switching between items, let me equip something so I can show you. If you're switching between items, always make sure that what you have selected is what you want to use. Because I've had it many times where, like, I go to try to heal and I accidentally have a fireball equipped, for example. So you throw a fireball and then you get attacked, and you would have lived if you had healed like you had planned, but you make simple mistakes like that. So always be mindful. This guy up here is another person that we can talk to. He's a friendly for now. There are different things in this game.
Hello
Let's
there.
talk to him.
I believe we are not acquainted. I am Petrus of Thurland. Have you business with us? If not, I'd prefer to keep a distance, if possible. Hello there. I realize that I have requested that we retain our distance, but I also want you to know that it is not meant in ill will. Here, take this, as a token of peace. No, go ahead. It's for you.
I don't want your whore money, bitch. Ugh.
Oh
Fine.
my. You again?
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
I haven't walked away yet.
How about this? I have to await my companions here anyway. So what if I were to teach you some miracles? Would that please you?
Sure.
Very well. Then first, a covenant with the gods.
Alright, so before I do this, let me try to explain a little bit. There are things in this game called covenants. I couldn't think of the word earlier because I'm a moron. Covenants, you can join covenants, and there's 9 different ones in the game, and they all give different benefits, and believe it or not, they actually give you, some of them, rather, will punish you for certain things. So if you join a covenant that's, let's say, evil, some players, actual players, will invade you more often because you're sinning against the gods, if you will. So, do some research before you join a covenant, just so you know what you're getting into. Also, if you ever leave a covenant, like for example, if I left this one, there wouldn't be any real punishment, but some of the other ones, if you leave their covenant, they will get pissed. They will send the agents out to come kill you. So, be aware of that kind of thing. Look it up on the wiki. This one in particular is a nice one because it'll give you more, it'll give you miracles for one, and it also puts you on a lower pool for people to be invaded. What this means basically is that there's an actual pool where players are set at ranks, and they get invaded more often than others. If you're in this specific covenant, you're actually on a lower pool, and you will not be invaded as much. So that's always an added plus for new players that are having difficulty. I believe this is called the Way of the Sun, Way of the Light, Way of the White is the name of this covenant.
Now let me share my miracles. Only their ultimate effectiveness will be determined by your efforts and your faith.
So here we can actually learn a new gesture. Gestures are basically your emotes. You saw me using some earlier when I was pointing and things like that. So make sure you talk to every NPC if you would like to get every gesture in the game. Some are, you know, comical, and you can use against other players to kind of grief them, troll them, if you will. But also, you know, you learn your bows, which I believe you already have, so you don't really need to learn it. But, you know, there's a lot of different things that you know, it's meant for fun. So learn them. So I learned the shrug gesture. You know, we can enter the covenant. I don't know why that's there, even though I'm still in the covenant. If we go down here, we can purchase new miracles. So these are some nice miracles. The Great Heal, which obviously we can't afford. 10,000 souls is a bit steep. Homeward, which will actually bring you to the last bonfire that you were at with no defects, so you won't lose any souls, you won't lose any humanity, so that's a nice spell to have. Force, I don't believe does any damage. It might do a tiny bit of damage, but I do not think it does. Basically what it does is it sends out a shockwave from your body and pushes enemies away from you. Very nice, you know, thing to do. If you're fighting an enemy near a ledge, you can actually push them off, so it's a nice thing. Seek Guidance, I don't believe I've ever used. I believe it actually like shows you, it kind of guides you to treasures, or maybe shows you where to go. I'm not entirely sure. You might want to look that one up, because I've never used it. Heal, which is a lesser of the Great Heal, so that's a really good spell to get right off the bat, because it'll give you a little bit of a heal. I believe it does a little bit more than an Estus Flask charge, so it's nice to have, and you have 5 uses of it as well when you first use it. If you come over here, you can use the talismans. Talismans are your main source to actually use miracles, so you want to make sure you have a talisman if you have a miracle, otherwise you will not be able to use it. So these are the 2, and each one, if you click the X and or square button, for me, if you hit it again, wait. Yeah, I'm sorry. So let me turn on my mouse. Right here, you see the modifier. See how it's a C, and if I go down, or I'm sorry, up, this one's a B. What that means is that this actually gains more of a benefit from faith than this one does. So this occurs on many different weapons, armor, things like, well, not armor, I don't think, but mainly just weapons. So if we look, for example,
Come again.
if we look at our weapon, and again we're going to go to it, hit display, we can see down here that this has an E multiplier for strength and a B for dexterity. What this means is that it gains more of a benefit from dexterity. As my dexterity goes up, this weapon's damage greatly increases. If we look up at the straight sword hilt, this has an EE, so, which basically means it's a piece of shit. Anything that has a C and up is pretty good. C is not the best. B is really where it's at. A is awesome, and then obviously there's also S, which will just do a truckload of damage if you get your, you know, corresponding stat that high. As you can see, shields also have it. This benefits from strength in a D form, so it's not that great, but it is there. So be mindful of these things as you progress. Always look. Pots. To destroy pots. So let's move on. Talk to this guy. He's goofy, and we'll get to that later of how goofy he is. So if we come up here, we'll get down there in a minute here. Let's grab this item. Soul of a Lost Undead. This is an item that you are going to see a lot. Soul of a Lost Undead, Soul of a Lost Knight, Soul of a Loyal Knight, all that bullcrap. Basically, this is a hard form of souls. If I were to use this item, and I will, just so I can show you, I'd rather not, but we're going to do it. Let me get rid of my mouse. There we go. I'm going to use this item. As you can see, my souls increased by 200. So, with each different kind of these souls, there are bigger ones that reward you more souls. Some reward like 1,000, some reward 10,000, you know, the same as a boss might. So, use these. It's a nice thing to have because, remember, and I don't know if I've said this, but I'll say it now, if you die, you lose all your souls. They drop right where you died. Now, if you come back to life and you can get to that spot, you can pick up your souls again. But, you know, sometimes it's hard to get back to your souls, so always watch for where you die and things like that. But it's nice to have this hard souls, if you will, because you'll never lose them. So if you're getting ready to level and you're just 300 souls short, you can pop a few of those and bam, instantly level up. So look into this kind of thing, save them up. I wouldn't use them as you get them. I would save them just so you don't lose them. You get angry. So if we come over here, looks like a giant pit, but we can actually jump down here. And this is a little hidden spot where we can find some new weapons. Well, weapons and items. Here's a chest. Inside is a homeward bone. Homeward bone works just the same way as a homeward spell. It will send you to the last bonfire you visited without losing any souls or humanity. So save up on these, don't waste them. They're nice, but I wouldn't use them at every opportunity, just at ones that, you're in a tight spot, you can't get away, bam, you're home free. Open this chest. Here's a morning star and a talisman. So I already have a talisman if I want to use miracles. Some items you cannot use. As you can see down here, I need to have at least... Come on, mouse. There we go. I need to have at least 10 faith to use this weapon, which is a talisman. It's technically a quote-unquote weapon. So be mindful of that kind of thing when you're equipping weapons. If I look at the Morning Star, I'm sure it'll be this. Yep, see, I need 11 strength to use this weapon. So I don't really want to use it anyway. But I would need to level up these stats in order to use those specific items. Get to a slash chest here. I believe it's the last one. Cracked red orb. What this does, if I were to use it, it lets me invade other players. It lets me become an invader into another world. So you'll actually go into another world, and NPCs will not attack you, but you can actually find the host of that world, which is an actual player, and try to fight them. Now, you can either duel them, which basically means it's one-on-one, and there's no NPCs, to interfere, or you can just go ahead and find them while they're fighting the toughest thing in the world and go ahead and kill them and be a douchebag. Doesn't really matter. Everyone does it, so trust me, don't feel bad. It's how the game is played. There's one more chest, I forgot. Now this item is a little bit different than anything we've seen. It's a Lloyd's Talisman. What this does is you can throw it at an enemy, and when I say enemy, only throw it at players because they're the only ones that can really... Well, that's untrue. You can actually throw it at NPCs. It stops them from drinking an Estus flask. If we look at this weapon, it'll actually show in the description. Prevents Estus recovery within a limited area. So if I throw that at a person and they get it on them, they no longer can use Estus flask for, I think, a little while. So it's really great to use on players that are, being douchebags and they decide to heal during a fight, which is, again, that's one of the things that's frowned upon during a duel. There's also certain NPCs, mostly just the undead, that can use Estus flasks as well. So sometimes you want to use that on them, like Balder Knights, creatures of this nature, because they're really tough, and if they get away, they can heal up instantly. So keep that in mind. It's a nice item to use if you're having difficulty. Now, before I jump down here, this is the graveyard I was talking about earlier. I'm going to do a little run through. There's a few items in here that I want to try to run through one run and grab all of them. Now, I recommend watching this video and then trying to do this because I'm going to use a specific path, which hopefully I remember. Hopefully I won't run into a tombstone and look like a moron. But, try to run through and grab all the items. They're mostly items that are kind of crappy, but there's like a Zweihander, I believe, that's an awesome sword. Does a lot of damage. Very slow weapon, but an awesome sword nonetheless. So you get that right off the bat. And this is actually the only area that you can get that weapon in. So when I jump down, a bunch of skeletons are going to spawn. I'm basically just going to try to run through them so they don't attack me, because I will die from them. So here we go, and wish me luck. Run, 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 run. So there's an item over here. Large Soul of Lost Knight. Run, run, run. Keep your shield up as you're running. I might have screwed up. Nope. There's an item. Oh, nope, nope. There's a shield. We'll look at this stuff later. I'm not going to show you right now because I'm a little busy, as you can see. Run, run, run. Don't go down there. That's the path that we'll talk about in a minute. Here's this Zweihander. Down here are the binoculars that I was talking about in my first video. Big skelly up here. Crap, I may be screwed. Nope, I'm good. Run, run, run. Run, bitch, run! And I believe this is our last item. That's a big skelly. Nope, there's another item over here. I want to grab that real quick. Run, run, run. Okay, so now, after we grab everything, these skeletons are going to chase us all the way back to the bonfire, so keep running, do not stop. Hopefully I'm going... No, I'm not going the right way. Anyway, we're just going to run up here and grab an item that's at the end of this. Oh wow, skeleton died while chasing me. Oh, there they are. There's my buddies over there. So, there's the starting area that we were at before. Let's get over there. And as I said before, rest at a bonfire and all the enemies that are chasing you instantly go away. Let's see if any are chasing me and see them disappear. They are a little slow, so I'm just going to go ahead and sit down. So there you have it. We got some nice little items. If we look at that shield, you can see the benefits. It gives us more magic defense, lightning defense, less fire defense, and more stability. Stability, I can't remember, I may be saying this wrong, but I believe it actually adds to your poise. And poise is basically the amount of force required to stun you. Basically mini stun you. So if you get hit by a giant sword like this Zweihander, you're going to get stunned. You can have a lot of poise that will stop this from happening, but it basically puts you in a mini stun where you can't really do anything for a split second. It's a little bit annoying, so it's nice to have a little bit more of this, and I believe stability helps with this. So this shield, I guess we can use this. It's piratey enough, I believe, so we'll use that. Let's look at some of the weapons we got. We got a winged spear. Oops. I can't use it because of the requirements. I didn't mean to equip it, so I'm going to put my scimitar back on. If we look at the weapon, we can see that we need 13 strength and 15 dexterity to use it, and it's got a multiplier of E in strength and C in dexterity. So it's not the best weapon, I believe, but it's got a nice moveset if you do level it up, and if you're equipping a weapon that you can't really use... wait, there we go. Yeah, you'll get that, where you're really slow and it looks like your guy's just a weakling, which, oh my god, it does look like a weakling, so it's kind of appropriate. So this happens. You can two-hand things, which will increase the strength, not increase the strength, I'm sorry, but it'll basically lower the strength requirement, so now I actually have better attacks with it. So keep that in mind. If we look at the Zweihander, where are you? You're up here. Again, I can't use it because it has a crap ton. Big fucking sword. But again, very slow because I don't have the full requirement. So if I were trying to use this in a fight, I would get fucked because I'm super slow. Let's try two-handing it. I think we'll have, yeah, the same effect. It's just so much strength required. Let's look. Yeah, we need 24 strength to use it. I only have 10. So, as you can see there, it's not the best weapon to really use right now. The binoculars, pull them bitches out, and we can look at things a little bit closer. Look at that hot ass. So, binoculars are a little bit of a waste, but some people like to have it just so they can look into traps in the future, or look at enemies that may be hiding. So, you have that. Alright. So, that was the graveyard. Let's actually go through the rest of this. I think there was another item somewhere in here. Not in here. No. Back here. Yes, there's another item back here. Nope. Wait. Nope. It's back here. There he is. So there's another lost soul that we can use. And if we come back over here, this is a little disorientating, so I'll just show you. That's where the graveyard was. One of the coolest aspects of this game is that everything pretty much connects. When you're moving through this map, there are ways to get back to this area relatively quickly. There's elevators and things like that that open up to you as you progress through the world. So it's really neat how the developers had connected all this. They had a plan for everything, And it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous world in general. Well, guys, I think I'm going to end it there. I think we've kind of, you know, gotten enough for this walkthrough. I showed you how to get some easy items. In the next video, we'll look at the other area, which is down Har, where we will be getting 2 new items. Well, 2, 3, 4, a couple new items. So, we'll get into that. Again, I hope you guys are enjoying these videos. I hope that you find them helpful. If not, if so, please leave a comment, let me know, and I will see you all next time.